Hey guys, good morning. One of the most ominous developments of big tech and the government in general is the suppression of speech. And this is ironic. The people that are always talking about our democracy, precious democracy, they are the ones trying to silence political or even scientific or historical alternate point of views. They don't want that to be said at all because they're so pompous. They think they know the truth of everything. They're trying to silence your speech, things that are true, but they don't like. They're just going to say, oh, that's misinformation. Well, who determines what's misinformation? Well, they do. How convenient is that, right? And we had, there's some great reporting by Matt or Fala, I think how you pronounce his last name. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, Matt. But he got into an exclusive Zoom call with Hope Not Hate. Hope Not Hate is sort of the British version of the ADL SPLC. They are an extremist leftist group, allegedly been involved in crimes, terrorist activity that seeks to censor and suppress other ideas. They're basically communists. This is what they are. And they hosted a bunch of people from, as you can see here, from Biden's campaign, how they counter disinformation during the presidential campaign. And we'll take a look at a few of the videos. I'm not going to show them all. Check out his thread, Matt's thread on X. He shows a lot of these videos, but I'll just give you a taste here. And here's Biden-Harris Digital Director Rob Flattery says that the DNC created a program to detect, track, and censor what it deemed misinformation. For example, they considered Biden, his mental acuity failing. That's misinformation. We now know it's true. Everyone saw it in the debate. But these liars, they put pressure on big tech to censor everyone that would bring that up. He calls it critical and one of the most important decisions made by the party in recent years. Take a look.
One of the smartest things that I think the party did itself was over the last couple of years, they actually invested in a team that Tim runs, and you'll hear from Tim, to detect and track misinformation and misinformation narratives in the sort of various corners of the internet, and then actually go out and flag it to platforms as a violation of their policy. And so that work, I mean, the stuff that they did was a critical asset. That piece of infrastructure, I think, was one of the more important decisions that was made in sort of the party space over the last couple of years.
And they actually not just talked about misinformation, they actively went out and tried to silence your discussion. As an American, a First Amendment should be one of our top priorities: free speech, free discussion. Actually, it's not in America. If you live in a free society, you have to allow people to discuss openly and not try to censor them. If you try to censor people based on their political ideas or questions, you're the Soviet Union or North Korea. But here, they just didn't talk about this stuff. They actually got people censored or tried. Here's an example. Emails show how Flattery carried out the supposedly counter misinformation program in the White House, pushing Facebook to censor Tucker Carlson for saying that the COVID-19 vaccine didn't stop the transmission, and Tommy Lahren for her strong "my body, my choice." She believed it was her body. She should be able to determine what goes in it. And the Biden White House with Flattery here, they said, no, we don't like this message. We want big tech to censor these people. So they sent emails to, in this case, Facebook. And I'm sure all the big tech they did at the time. And so what do you consider misinformation? And here's another example, what they call a narrative. It includes conversations about corruption. Remember Hunter Biden? He was corrupt. In fact, there are new charges coming out today. He engaged in selling out the country, and it is extreme corruption with Hunter Biden. Oh no, that's misinformation. Or Biden's mental fitness. Oh, that's misinformation. We need to censor it. Or even Kamala Harris and a record in California, they're trying to suppress that as misinformation. It's just anything they don't like politically, they call misinformation. Here we go. Take a look at this.
We brought Becca on to sort of think through, okay, now that we have these misinformation narratives, what do we actually do? Like, it is one thing to know that there is a lot of conversation online about corruption or mental fitness or any of these things, or the vice president's record on the crime bill, which was sort of a controversial piece of legislation in the early 90s. But it was another to go, okay, now what?
And then further up, it's just not him. Here's Becca Rinkevich. She's part of Biden's Rapid Response Director. She later became the White House Deputy Director of Digital Strategy. She talked about Biden's mental decline is disinformation, and we see it here.
We saw a huge amount of volume and a lot of impact on narratives like Joe Biden was being manipulated by the radical left and disinformation around his mental acuity.
So this is a huge problem. It's one thing, I get it. If you have a president and a staff and you want to counter a message, that's perfectly fine. That's part of the free expression. So someone has their opinion online. They see Joe Biden wandering off and mumbling or talking strange shit. And someone's online just saying, hey, it looks like he's senile. Well, the way you respond to that in a free country is you don't try to silence the person. You don't try to get them banned. You yourself put out your own message and say, oh, you misunderstood. No, he's as sharp as a tack, or whatever the narrative message that they did have. That's how you do it. You don't try to censor people. That is un-American. And this is what the Biden and Kamala Harris team, this is part of Kamala Harris too, this is how they think. They really like the English model, the Great Britain, where they silence everyone. Even if you retweet something they don't like, they will throw you in jail. Again, we're getting into Stalin-type territory here that they're embracing. They're not liberals in the traditional sense of allow everyone to speak. They are totalitarians. They say anything that you disagree with, they call misinformation, and they want you censored, or in case of Britain, arrested. They would like to do that in the United States eventually. I mean, we could play the same game with them. We say, oh, all ethnic groups are equal. That's misinformation. We're going to throw you in prison. Or, oh, whites have privilege. That's misinformation. We're going to throw you in prison or deplatform you. See, we could play that game too. But the problem is the right we never do. We allow open speech, a debate, and then we just complain when they take it from us. But we got to have penalties for these people. These people, they, as part of the government, were working with private entities to censor your First Amendment rights. They need to go to prison. People went to prison for January 6th, walking through the Capitol, taking selfies peacefully. These guys talk about election interference and violating your civil rights as an American. These are petty tyrants that need to go to prison. And if Trump wins, he needs to look at all these people, and they need to be put on trial, and they need to answer for the crimes against the American people. Fuck them. These people are evil. Talk to you guys later.